Hello, Shalom. Books, books, books. Before I talk about books, look at those teeth. These are my permanent upper gnashers. My implants have finally been installed. Not without much pain, anxiety and frustration and cost, but let's not go into that. Books, books, books. Books are everywhere. They're flowing into every corner of my house, every corner of my mind, and even every corner of this little lockup in Romford, Essex. What can I do? Well, I have 20,000 books that are unsold, and no danger of actually selling them because there doesn't seem to be an interest. This is a source of great frustration. Also, it goes back to the days even 10 years ago when sales were reasonable and print runs were a lot bigger, but now most publishers would just print on demand and have virtually no stock at all. The stock I have for any new books is basically to cover the crowdfunders and a bit extra, but the days were when I used to do print runs of 2,000, 3,000, which was fine while I was selling. The first book of that nature, How the Church Lost the Way, I think the first print run was 2,000, which I actually sold, and so I did another print run and I'm stuck with it. That's the problem. Up until probably about 4 years ago, I was doing these big print runs because it was cheap in the sense of the unit sale, and the unit cost was very low. Now I do what's called digital printing, which is a higher cost, but I don't need to have big print runs. But I'm wondering whether I should have any print runs of anything anymore, because here hangs a tale. Well, last time I spoke, possibly to you, I can't remember, I contacted Book Aid, who send books to pastors and other people all over the world, and the idea is that you donate the books, and I was told that would be a good way to get rid of a lot of the stock that I have unsold in my warehouse that's costing me £4,000 a year. So I contacted Book Aid and I sent them some samples, and I've heard nothing. Even then they said if they took any, it can only be bits and pieces all through the year, so can't even give them away. Well, it gets worse because I met with a friend on Monday who is very high up in the Messianic Jewish pro-Israel sort of world, and who are, one would think, natural supporters of mine. Well, they used to be, not so much now. None of them take my books, to give you an example. This all sounds very cynical, and I'm sorry, but it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, what's the point of doing these podcasts unless I can be honest? I'm wondering if anyone's listening or watching anyway, but thing is, I told this chap the situation with the books, and I said I'm happy to give boxes of books, as many as you want, to send anywhere in the country, as long as someone pays the postage, free of charge, whether it's individuals or ministries, and I just need to get rid of them. So I told him that, and he very kindly, as he's a person of great power and influence, put out a mail out to all the leaders in this country of these ministries to say there's the offer. I'm writing books that are perfectly aligned with the core values of all these places. But was there an interest? Only 2 people, himself and my friend Roy Thurley. No one else. It makes you think, I can't even give my books away to those who would be natural supporters of my books. If that's a disincentive for me to be writing any more books of the type that I've written, that's it. I haven't got inspiration at the moment for books, for conferences. It's the end of an era, I think. Does that mean I'm retiring? Does that mean writing becomes a hobby? Because I have to write, I have to be creative, otherwise I might as well not live. And those of you who've been keeping up to Malt's World will know that I wrote a film script. Took a week, and I've now sent it to about 10 agents. There's about the only 10 in the country that take film scripts unsolicited. But because of that, It's very, very, I mean, unless God is in this, there's going to be no response, because the chances of getting a film, TV or otherwise commissioned, if you think about it, with the millions of pounds that go into it, you know, the chance of it is pretty minimal. And anything I write is going to be off centre. It's not going to be sort of directed at the zeitgeist, let's say. And I said in my email to these publishers, I basically said the good old days without the bad old attitudes, and then I basically say, well, this screenplay that I've written and those that I intend to write will be a sort of a parallel universe, you know, set in the modern day, but no swearing, no sex, no violence, no blasphemy, good old-fashioned plots, good versus evil, well-rounded characters, you know, good behaviour. If there was ever a return to those sort of that sort of template, then maybe they will remember me, but it doesn't seem very likely. But you know, with God, anything can happen, and I can only see that as the only thing I can do at the moment. There really is no incentive or desire for me to write as I've written. Maybe novels, even the novel I wrote, Butterflies in Whitehall. No response. You know, no response to Awake, not a single sale, apart from the crowdfunders that were forced to go. And you know, I've had great feedback from both books, from those that have picked them up, and I think we just don't read anymore. That's sad, isn't it? Anyway, I'll leave on a sad note, but I'll show you my lovely smile. Dear.